Hey guys, I was laying in bed gonna type up my daily diet and exercise tip for tonight, and I thought, oh, I know, I'll do if it fits your macros versus clean eating. And now this is gonna be a pretty long one, so I thought maybe I'll just do a video instead. This is actually something that a lot of people are curious about in the fitness industry. So I thought I'll put it on YouTube, and it's something that more people than just my clients that I send my diet and exercise tip out to can benefit from. So, clean eating would involve eating just the best foods possible. So, high fiber, low sugar, low glycemic index for the carbs, additional health benefits from the fats like omega 3s or MCTs like coconut oil. And this is one of the two ways that people can coach their clients in regards to diet, and I'm not a big fan of it. Reason being, there's many reasons why. So the biggest one is I just don't think it's maintainable. It's not a lifestyle. Basically, the coach tells you, here's the foods you got to eat, and sometimes it's extremely restricted. And granted, I'm fine with eating a restricted diet. I view food as fuel and not fun. I don't care if something doesn't taste amazing. I just put it in my body and it's all good. And so I realize that most people aren't that way. So when a coach tells them to eat brown rice 3 times a day and sweet potatoes 3 times a day and broccoli at every meal, chicken and tilapia, only sources of protein. People just can't do that. And there's no reason why they should have to. Yeah, maybe those foods are the best ones, but they're not that much better than all the other foods for the most part. So, yeah, you might get better results by sticking to those foods, but it may not be as good for health because the bigger variety you can get, the more micronutrients you'll get, different vitamins and minerals. So that's definitely a benefit of more variation in your diet. But then also, it's very difficult to control your portions. And at the end of the day, that's really what matters most. How many grams of protein, fat, and carbs you're taking in, specifically how many calories from carbohydrates and fat. That's going to affect either your muscle building or your fat loss goals. So if you're not manipulating that through your diet, and your diet guidance, then you're really not doing your job as a coach. That's what matters most at the end of the day. So if I tell somebody, well, go have brown rice and tilapia and broccoli at this meal, but I don't tell them how much, they could consume 30 grams of carbs or 130 grams of carbs. And that's 400 calories difference in one meal times 5 or 6 meals. It's just outrageous how different it could be, and they're not going to make progress towards their goals at all. So it's very difficult to coach through those means unless you tell them how much to take in. And you can use measuring cups, but that isn't even going to be very accurate, especially when you get into your fats that are super high caloric density, where you screw up 10% on your measurement just because the measuring cups are a little bit different and one's heaping and one's flat, then that's not going to allow you to hit the desired caloric intake either. So that would lead to having to weigh your food. Now, if you have to weigh your food, and really it's the amount of protein, fat, and carbs that you take in that matters most, why not just allow them to eat whatever they want to hit those amounts? It seems kind of crazy to me that you would require somebody to only eat 10 different foods in their diet. It's just not maintainable. Say you run out of groceries, say you absolutely hate sweet potatoes, which I used to. You got to figure out how to cook them things. Add some canned coconut milk, cinnamon, salt. Makes a big difference in eating them just plain. That's pretty gross. But so people usually fail eventually on like a meal plan type diet that just uses clean foods. Or say they're getting in contest prep mode and then they can eat whatever the heck they want after the competition. They just go eat the most destructive foods for their body afterwards. All the things they weren't allowed to have during their contest prep. They go out and eat every kind of dessert imaginable, and in 2 weeks they've gained 20 pounds. Because you absolutely cannot do that. Your metabolism is super slow after a restrictive diet. So, not a fan of the meal plans or clean eating only. What I coach my clients in could be called if it fits your macros. I prefer to call it flexible dieting because if it fits your macros, it leads people to believe that you can eat anything you want and make optimal progress. Now, I do believe that you can make pretty significant progress eating junk food, even as long as you abide by your macronutrients that I would assign. And so if your goal is fat loss, every week I would be decreasing your calories from fat and carbohydrates. And for the most part, you can eat whatever you want, and if you abide by that, you'll get progress. But I strongly feel that you won't get optimal progress if you're not eating the best or at least good, healthy, whole foods. So I also require my advanced clients, once they get a good feel for hitting their macronutrients on a daily basis, then I also have a fiber requirement and sugar requirement. They have to have at least a certain amount of fiber, which I gradually increase, and they have to stay within a sugar limit, which I will gradually decrease. Get them not only mentally okay with having a lower sugar diet, but also you don't really ever want to dramatically change any aspect of your diet. For one, it's gonna be difficult mentally, but then also you won't get as much benefit physiologically. So body composition change wise, if you do a drastic change, you want to take advantage of the body's need to adapt. So you provide a stimulus such as 20% lower sugar intake, and it's going to improve, but then get used to that. So then you change it again and it improves again, where you just make one improvement and it's going to adapt one time and then plateau. So the multiple reasons why I do everything gradual in my diet coaching for my clients and myself. So my coaching would be having clients keep track of their protein, fat, carbs, sugar, and fiber. Now, for the most part, they can eat whatever they want. Now, if their calorie allowance is pretty low, like say I have a client that is in contest prep mode and they're 3 weeks out, then they're probably not going to be able to eat many of the foods that they desire to just because they're too high in fat or carbs. So they're restricted to eating mostly clean foods, but not because they're magical by any means. Just they have lower caloric density. So that's what works best for them to feel full, or at least as full as possible with their allotted calorie intake. I guess when your calories are higher, then you have the potential for eating more junk food, and then you can still make progress. So say you can eat 400 grams of carbs in a day, then you can get those from cake or Pop-Tarts or cereal, whatever you want, because it's not a big deal if you get 150 grams of carbs from one meal, where when you're 4 weeks out from a contest, then you're not even going to get 150 carbs allowance in a whole day. So you just can't eat that stuff. But in regards to food quality for flexible dieting, you're going to have to choose certain foods for me because of the sugar and fiber content. I think that it's very important. Not as important as how many grams of carbs and fat you take in, but it'll still make a difference. And I'm not going to coach anybody for mediocrity. I want them to have the best results possible. So, I mean, you can figure out what foods work best for you, but I'm still going to take your health into consideration. You need that fiber for digestive health, and you don't want to have too much sugar because that can screw with your blood sugar and your gut bacteria levels. So I think that's important. If your macronutrient allowance is higher and you can have junk food, it'd be best to incorporate that post-workout. You really don't want fiber post-workout, and it's okay to spike your blood sugar because your insulin sensitivity is so much better from depleting your glycogen stores in your weightlifting session that all the excess blood sugar is just going to get shuttled right to your muscles. It's not going to cause the negative effects it normally would at any other time of the day. So, yeah, I don't make clients use any sugar that they intake within 1 hour of their workout to go towards their sugar allowance. So this really allows them to eat some junk food if they desire. So I really think that there's no reason why you can't eat clean foods if it fits your macros. That's what I do. I mean, I want to be the best as possible. So I'm putting the best foods in my body for the most part, even if I don't require my clients to. But at the end of the day, it really is hitting your macros, which is going to get you the majority of your progress towards your goals. Alrighty, later.